My name is Brandon Morgan, and I want to welcome you to our course this semester. I have been teaching at CNM since the fall of 2009, so I've been here a little while now. I very much enjoy it. I've been teaching online at CNM since 2011 or so. I've come to really love online teaching and the connections that we can make with one another as instructor and students working to learn something more about the past, whether it's New Mexico history or Latin American history. Those are the two courses that I principally teach right now. As we get started this semester, I want to say a couple of things about history as a discipline, a field of study, and something to kind of orient our study over the course of the semester. So you may think of history as the memorization of a list of dates and names, or just learning what the overall story of politics might be, whether we're looking at New Mexico's political history, the political histories in Latin America, or US history, whatever it might be. It seems that there is a history book and that the past has been written. The past isn't set in stone, though, and we are constantly finding new insights, new ways of looking at and thinking about the past. That comes through the processes of historical thinking. So as we get started this semester, I want you to think of history not as something that is static and set, but something that we need to investigate, that we need to find evidence for, we need to figure out multiple perspectives, we need to really interrogate the sources and think about how authors will be reading different works, how they came to their conclusions, how they're thinking about historical sources. Because what you'll find is that history is a lot like detective work. It's a lot like putting together a puzzle that includes the most pieces possible to get the fullest picture that we can about any past event. So we'll be talking about historical thinking and what that means. And I've added a link to an article that was published in the American Historical Association's journal quite a few years ago now, but it still holds relevance. It has the 5 C's of historical thinking in it. We'll be looking at that in Unit 1 as we get underway, and we'll be coming back to those elements of historical thinking over the whole semester. I also wanted to say something about the digital tools that we'll be using for this class. As I alluded to a minute ago, I've really come to love teaching online. One of the reasons for that, one of the reasons that I think we're able to make great connections to each other through the learning process is because of the digital tools we'll be using in this class. So I think things like Twitter, things like Adobe Spark, like Tiki-Taki for our timeline assignments, those things actually hold great value in terms of what they can help us learn about the past and the ways they can connect us to each other in our conversations about what we're learning. That said, I don't want anyone to get bogged down trying to learn the tools themselves. I understand completely that these things are new to many of us. It might be the first time you've ever used Twitter, probably is the first time you've ever used Tiki-Taki. And so I've created video tutorials throughout the course to help you understand what we'll be doing with those tools, how to use them, how to get started, and I'm always willing to answer questions. So please take advantage of the resources that I've given you to figure out how to use those things. But then whenever you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. I know this is an online class, but I have an open door policy. I'm sitting in my cubicle office at the West Side campus right now in the MJG building. You can come see me here during my office hours or set up a separate appointment. Or I'm always available via email, via text message, the number is in the syllabus, or via Twitter. So those are great ways to get a hold of me, and I always do my best to help out. The catch is, I can't help if I don't know that you need it. So please don't worry about asking too many questions or bothering the instructor or whatever it might be. I won't be bothered. This is what we're here for. So please feel free to make connections and ask whenever you have those kinds of questions. What we'll move on to next in this video is a quick screencast just to give you a tour of what our course looks like in Blackboard. Hopefully this looks familiar to you. This is our course in Blackboard on the landing page right now. I will keep it this way throughout the entirety of the semester, and you will use the menu over here on the left hand of the screen to navigate the course. So most importantly, as you look at what's here on the landing page, you'll see that there is this little Twitter widget so that you can see what people are tweeting about the readings and so forth for class. I do want to point out that you shouldn't use these widgets to post your tweets. Actually go to twitter.com or use TweetDeck. To do that, it isn't very functional here. The reason I've added them, though, is just so that you can see what other people are saying as we move along through the course and people are posting tweets, and also just to remind you that you need to go and do that. You can get announcements and your grades also from the landing page. Importantly, you've started here. Close that. You've started here if you're looking at this video. The syllabus is available in the Getting Started or the Start Here module, so please look through that. It has some mostly reference material, but they are things that are important for you. You can access the syllabus in the Syllabus tab, so please be aware of that. The course schedule is available in the syllabus, but I've put it here as well just for quick reference. Look over the instructor information also. That might seem unimportant, but that is one of the places where I list things like the late work policy, netiquette policy, and what you can expect from me, as well as what I expect from you over the course of the semester. And then this is just the calendar in Blackboard if you like to use it. Moving down, course content is where we will do most of our work. So let me just say right here that as long as you've kept tabs on the syllabus itself and on the learning modules, you will understand and have a checklist for each unit to know what is due and when. As always, if you have any questions about that after you've looked over all the materials, don't hesitate to ask me. Below the learning modules, you'll find individual links for the various assignment types that we have. So the Twitter assignment, our discussion board, the timeline assignment, journals, the final project, and then an extra credit assignment that you can do if you'd like. So you can look through all of those. You can find the information about all of those in the syllabus as well. The links in the syllabus are active, and all of the information, for the most part, that you could find here, you can also get to through the syllabus. So as with most digital things, there are multiple ways to get at the information you need. As long as you keep tabs again on the learning modules and the syllabus, you will have all of that. Unit 1 is here. You can read through my little, I was going to call it a disclaimer. It's not really a disclaimer, just a clarifying point about when things are due and when I work. Unit 1, though, is a little different in terms of its overall structure than most of the units we'll have for our class. Each of them last for 2 weeks, and they each have essentially the same kinds of assignments. So let me open up Unit 2 just to show you what a normal learning module looks like. So when you click on this, you'll see an introduction to the topics that we'll be studying. As you scroll down, this is your list of what you need to do for the unit. So there are assignments that you have to complete during the first week. Those will be due the first Sunday after the first week is over. The second week has a couple of due dates. By the second Wednesday, you will need to post your timeline ID step. And then by the second Sunday, your connection step and your journal. That's essentially the same for units 2 through 7. If it says 2 through 6 anywhere, let me know, because the last version of this class only had 6 units, and I've tried to update that everywhere, but sometimes those things slip through. So anyway, if you have any questions about what is due and when, you just come back here to the learning module, the opening section, and you'll find that information. This is a reminder about your discussion posts. That's an assignment you need to do on your own. One is due in the middle of the semester, March 11th. Another part of that is due at the end of the semester on the last day of classes. So just keep that in mind. And then the unit objectives are here. I have video introductions for all of the units as well that I've embedded here. As you'll note, they're old. I still wasn't shaving my head then. You can probably tell why I started shaving my head. They're generally still accurate in terms of what they do is introduce you to the topics that we'll be talking about, the events. I will be trying to update those, though, as we go out throughout the semester. You can move through each learning module using the arrow buttons here at the top of each screen. Or if you know that you don't need to see the readings, you want to skip ahead to something else, you can use the table of contents. Each section has the readings listed. Morgan is the e-text, so you will have access to that via the link that you get once you've purchased it. I've added PDF versions of the chapters for the first couple of units because those of us that use financial aid can't use financial aid to purchase the e-text. So you'll have to use the PDFs until disbursement day. So it's a workaround to help you get by until that disbursement day comes through. Once disbursement happens, though, you will need to purchase the e-text, and these will no longer be PDF files. Then there are kind of secondary readings for each unit. You can click on those open PDFs, and you can read all of those. There are optional readings for each unit. And then these questions to consider, they're not things that you have to do for an assignment. They're just questions to help you think about the events that you're reading about. I use the table of contents to move forward this time. As you can read here, each unit has film clips. I recognize that there are more than you can probably watch for any given unit, but they're here just to help you to better understand the readings, to help contextualize what you've been reading, so that hopefully everything will make more sense. So it's okay if you don't get to all of them, but watch as many as you can. Sometimes I put extra information like this FYI on the Idle No More, an Indigenous peoples movement that is current today. Once it loads, or you'll see the Twitter feed for Idle No More. This is to remind you to complete your Reading Tweets assignment. This link will take you to the assignment guidelines. Something's not loading correctly, but usually this will also become a widget, so I'll go back and look at why that's not working right. But again, this is just to remind you to go and do your Reading Tweets. Your timeline submissions, remember that there are 2 different due dates for these. Generally, the ID step is the second Wednesday of each unit, and the connection step is the second Sunday. You will use these links to complete both steps of this assignment. And you have a link to the instructions there as well. Then this will take you to where you can complete your journal, and each unit has this self-assessment and looking ahead. So this gives you all of the things that you should have completed so you can check them off once again, make sure you did all of the assignments, and then this tells you what's coming up. It reminds you about those discussion assignments that I referred to earlier and the steps for the final project. So again, if you kind of keep tabs on everything that's here in the learning module, you'll have access to everything that you need to be doing. If you've done the readings, though, you've done your reading tweets, and you come back and you want to just do the timeline, but you don't want to go into the learning modules, that's what these links over here, at least in part, are for. So I'm going to click on the timeline one just to show you this. This has a link to the class timeline, to the assignment instructions to show you what you'll be doing, all of the tutorial videos that I mentioned earlier, and then as you scroll down to the very bottom, you'll see the submission locations for each unit. So this is where you will go to submit your assignments. So for Unit 2, when you get the ID step done, you come here, click on this, and you can attach, as you scroll down, attach your file. Same thing for the connection step. You'll find it in that same folder, but it will be the link below. So again, that's similar for all of these. If you need more information about any of the assignments, it'll always be here. The submission links will always be here as well, although if you just follow the learning module, you will get to those submission links too. Hopefully that makes sense. Here we have all the communication links, announcements. I do make those frequently. You should get alerts on the homepage in Blackboard as well to let you know when there are new announcements, but you can just check that and keep tabs on when they appear. This will do your CNM email. Online office hours, you can click there and it will open the Collaborate window so that you can complete that. I'm going to be honest, I don't use Blackboard IM that often anymore because I found nobody really uses it that often. So if I'm on and you're on, I'll be happy to talk to you. But if not, and you want to talk to me, you can send me a text, you can send me an email or a tweet, and I get those fairly quickly as well. And then, of course, you know my grades. The help section, those are resources for you. And as always, if you have any questions about any of this, please don't hesitate to ask. My virtual door is always open, and I'm more than willing to help. I'm looking forward to a great semester with all of you.